Yo, what's going on? How you doing? So, let's talk outfitting or armoring. Sorry, armoring. Um, it's awesome. It is my main job in my clan. It was the role I was assigned to, and I feel very grateful for that. I got power level with donations, and I also, farmed a lot, worked my ass off, and we're 153 in armoring. So I have a little bit of experience. And I just want to kind of share some tips with you and all that kind of stuff. Let's look at the different pieces. We've got legs, we've got helm, shoes, hat, I'm sorry, hands, and pants, right? And go down to the leather, because that's what I like. So, when we look at our leather, let's start with the tier 2. We got a leather. You see that for medium armor, it's primary, coarse, leather, then a little bit of cloth, a little bit of iron, and a potential Azoth. Now, when I am just leveling, and I am just power throughing it, I make gloves and I make boots. Why? Because they cost the least amount of iron ingots. Right? That one's 2. Hats will only require 1 ingot, but they do require a lot of coarse leather and a lot of linen, right? They do have pretty good armoring experience. It's really up to you. I just prefer the hats and the gloves. Now, that's for spamming it to make experience. Now, if I were to try and make money on it, I would try and make a couple sets of each, right? I would try and make as many sets as I could and roll them out. I would not be using Azoth on them because I would be, trying to make like 30 sets, and I don't have the Azoth for that because at level 2, that's 30 Azoth a pop. I'll run out of it. So I just spam the materials. Now, how do I get the materials? Well, rawhide is tier 1, coarse leather is tier 2, and then rugged leather, which is made with a bunch of coarse hide, is tier 3. Okay? So, okay. Well, that's because they're fur. Let me get the. That's fur armor. There we go. Rugged leather. So, rugged leather. And then you can go in and you can use the weaker materials, the iron and the linen, for these, or you can use higher materials, even tier 4s, on the tier 3 piece. You can use any combination you want, and I find that, hold on, let me move my face. That your gear score, it kind of moves up and down, and it's genuinely alright, but you can proc high. That 375 didn't go down. The first score did, so you could proc lower, but you could also still proc the exact same level as, using silk and void metal. So, from 290 to 335, 330, 375. But you could also still proc at 330 using these, or you could proc at 330 using the others. It just kind of narrows the pool down a little bit when you use this. I use the cheaper materials, especially when I'm leveling, because the higher tier materials are really freaking expensive to make. And will reduce the amount of XP you get overall, because the XP doesn't change based on the materials you make at all. Also, when you're making, you want to look at the tax, the amount of taxes you're going to be paying for each item. It's down here at the bottom here. And then, of course, in order to make the tier 4 stuff, you've got to have layered leather, which also requires rugged leather. So now you've got to farm a bunch of rugged leather and then pair it with the thick hides in order to combine them so you get the layered leather. And then, in order to get the infused leather, you have to get the, oh, help me out here. You have to get the iron hide and then use the layered leather to make that, right? So, and I think it's over at the tannery. I don't know if I can show you it. Grab it. And it's the same process with the silk too. So really, using higher materials will bite you in the butt because you're going to need it later. So ironhide and layered leather. And you just pop your tannin in, and if you had the tier 5 workbench, then you'd be able to make it. So keeping on those higher tier materials is really, really important. So for me at least, I was using the lowest quality materials I could, and using the base high, you know, like if I was making tier 3 stuff, I'd be using rugged leather here, cloth here, iron here, or if I was using a sateen, I'd be using horse leather and iron, right? So that I can keep my higher materials untouched during the crafting process. And that conservation of materials is really, really important. And that's kind of how you make gold, and that's how you make levels, spamming those sets. But there's also another part about armoring, that's really cool. And you can also make steel stuff here too. But you don't use the outfitting station, you use the forge. You can make these sets, right? These cool sets that you get from dungeons. You get these corrupted talismans, and you can make depth replicas. You can make their style of armor in your settings by having these specialty, crafting materials. So like if you want to do Shattered Obelisk, you need the Sparkling Bone Dust, you need Coagulated Blood for Amrine, you need Corrupted Talismans for Depths, Jade Collars for the Dynasty. And these are cool. The reason that you would want to really do these instead of something else is because they already have the attributes on them. You see that? They already have it on them, which means now you can choose the trait you want on it. How cool is that? So, now I've got a 9 intelligence, 6 focus, and empowering fireball because that's the charm I chose at a random. And then you put your Azoth on it. Boom. Now it's got a very high chance of having a gem slot and a very high chance of having a random second perk. Perfect. Everybody wins. This is awesome. So as an outfitter, you're going to want to be running these dungeons so you can get these things and asking your group members to give you theirs. If you're in a guild or whatever. And so then you come in and you start looking at these. And so like these are 415 to 460 gear in the dynasty stuff and in the depths. You come down to the in-game, you're looking at the Beastmaster hands at tier 5. Sorry, not Beastmaster. Dryad stuff at tier 5. You're going to want their Spectral Dust, that you can use the infused leather and have an automatic roll of 12 strength and 8 dexterity, that you can choose the right trait for them, the one that they want. And that's how you control the primary stat and the traits. Otherwise, you can only control one or the other. If you come up here to the stuff we were talking about earlier, this one, you only get to choose one or the other, right? I'm crazy, hold on. There we go. You only get to choose one or the other. You get to choose either the main stat or the trait. You don't get to choose both, because there's only one spot for this, right? I can't go back then and then choose this one as well. I only get one. So, my attributes is now focused because that's the prayer beads I put in. If it's no item, it's just a chance, and each chance takes 15 Azoth. But when I put one in, boom, perk, repulsing clear outs. Now I can only put 30 Azoth in because that's what I need. And then my attributes is up to chance, right? I don't get to choose whether it has dexterity or strength on it. That's why these dungeon sets are so valuable, right? Because then you get to choose the perk on it, and that's what everybody really wants. That's where all of those crafting mods you're getting come in to play. Other than that, there's not a whole lot else going on. You can make repair kits out of your repair parts. They're really easy to make. throw them in there, make 5. Now you're out of repair parts, but you're gonna get a crap load of crafting. So who cares? Make it, sell them on the auction house, right? Get yourself a little bit of gold that way. Now let's talk about my favorite part about armoring, and that's bag making. Now, it takes 45 of the main type of leather. So tier 2, coarse, tier 3, rugged, tier 4, layered, tier 5, infused. Then you get 25 of any layer of cloth, but I usually use pretty high quality on these, unlike I use on the on the armor, because people really care about their bags and you want them to be the highest quality possible. I would be putting star metal in this, I'd be putting silk. Actually, for tier 5 I'd be using all of them, right? Because you want to get to that 505, as close as you can to that 505 as possible. And as as I get closer to 200, this bar will fill up. But right now it would be 505 would be the max I could make. And then I need a rune of holding, which is the hardest thing to get on these things. Also, it's got 3 perks on a tier 5 bag. That means I thought I had 4 perks. I guess it only has 5. In addition to the 300 base encumbrance versus the tier 4, 75 more pounds basically. You're gonna have these 3 perk chances. Boom, and you need this rune of holding. Now this rune of holding you get from talking to your faction vendor.
My blade, my life.
And you go to the rewards, and you have to basically rank up in PvP per rank, which is shown right here on the destroyer mark. So this is soldier, and then once you get 3,000 reputation and tokens, then you'll be getting a gladiator quest. You go down, you do your gladiator quest, you come back, and then you can earn a bunch more tokens until you hit 11,000 reputation with Ravager. Then you go, and, do the same thing. Take your Ravager quest, get promoted, make your way up to Destroyer. That's what I just did. Now, Destroyer is basically, you have access to, I think, basically everything other than Commander gear and Commander, potions and stuff. That's my next rank. I need 40,000, I have 26. I need 23 more thousand in order to hit my Commander stuff. You gotta buy rewards. You can scroll down, and you can find these runes of holding. The first one is 1,000 tokens, which is nothing, and 250 gold, which, is expensive. And then the next one goes up, 500 gold, 3,000 tokens. The next one goes 5,000 tokens, 1,000 gold. And this is a tier 4 one. And I can't buy tier 5 ones yet because I don't have the coins on me. But if I did, I could buy it because I'm a destroyer and make tier 5 bags. I'm going to be very, very excited about, but I don't have the tannery, nor do I have the enough leather to do it. When I do, I'll be buying those and making these bags. And then of course, your commander gear does not have the runes of holding, so for this purpose of outfitting, we don't really need those. But that's kind of where you can go. So, I've made my bag. It cost me 1,000 gold for a tier 4. How do I make any back? Well, if you put it on your back, you don't. But you can get several really, really good traits on it. Let's actually go look at those. Because the traits on the bags can vastly affect the value of the bag. Tier 4. So, we've got, I believe there's 11? Yeah, there is 11 different perks. And I've only gotten the Tanner's Burden for I've gotten like 1 Adderstone, but that's it. So it's very hard to get these bag mods, but they do exist. And these are also the perks that you're going to be using your Azoth for to proc on them. Because you don't want to take any chances on a bag, so you're always going to be using the max amount of Azoth you can to make the bag. So it's going to be hard to spam them, especially because they cost, gold for the rune, and then the Azoth, and then there's this. But a lot of people really like Extra Pockets. Extra Pockets is a perk that I have on all of my bags. Except for that one, for some reason. Why don't I have one? Whatever. Extra pockets can hold 78 more pounds. For crafter, that's huge. For gatherer, it can be pretty big, and for everyone else, it's just a really nice convenience to have just more carry weights. Boom, boom, and boom. So we've got Adderstone. That's going to be your luck. It just increases your luck by drops from monsters and chests by a certain percent. Alchemist, your alchemy stuff weighs less. So that's like the plants and whatnot way less. The quartermaster, I believe, is the don't remember what the quartermaster is. It might be gems. I think that's gems. Quartermaster. Azoth attuned, you just get more Azoth from all sources, which is awesome. Gourmand, that's gonna be your cooking weighs less. That's all cooked in raw food. Quarryman's burden, this is another one that people love. Basically, it is less weight on your ores, pickaxes, no, not stones, ores, pickaxes, and something else. Mercenaries, I believe, is less weight on your armor, so that you can wear, like, 2 heavy pieces and all medium and still be medium weight. Plentiful arrows, when you get shot, you have a chance of keeping that arrow and putting it in your bag, which is funny. Plentiful shells is the same thing, but for guns. Prospector's burden, that's for gems. I don't know what that's for. Lumberjacks is for wood, weavers is for silk, and yeah. So let's talk about. Now we've talked about which traits are going to be what. Now let's talk about how they affect the price of things, because as a outfitter, you're going to want to be able to make some money. So let's go to my orders. We'll talk about the 2 bags I have posted. You can always post your blues. I think that's worth it. These are overpriced now. They were competitive when I posted them, but they didn't sell. And I put them up for 14 days, like an idiot, instead of 24 hours. But I don't really feel like dealing with it now. And so we got the layered satchel here, 6,000. Okay, that's got extra pockets, plentiful shells, and reduce the weight of stone blocks, gems, and pickaxes. Somebody is gonna really want that, right? Because that's a really good bag, dude. Really good bag. So I've asked 6,000 for it, compared to other bag that didn't have extra pockets that I put up for competitive market price at 2,400. Technically, I could ask a little bit more. You guys can't even see it. I'm a goober. So this one that has the extra pockets, plentiful shells, and the Quarryman's burden. 6,000 is what I'm asking for, right? Versus everything else that doesn't have extra pockets is around 2,400. You could technically ask for 26 because of the Azoth attuned, because that is going to be very valuable to crafters, as you know, because you're going to be using Azoth to make the dang thing. The prices are going to change from server to server, but the idea is to know which bags are more important, which ones are going to make you the most money, and why. The dungeon sets of gear are going to be worth way more than the non-dungeon sets of gear, because they're harder to get a hold of, because of the extra requirements you got to get for the dungeon specific drops, and because you can control the perks on those. You can get that 12 strength 4 constitution pair of boots or whatever, and then give you the correct weapon perk associated with the great hammer or something, or the hammer. So that's going to be really valuable to somebody. So somebody's going to look at that and say, wow, I need that piece of gear because it's got perfect rolls on it, or a perfect roll on it. The other one's, up to chance. So that's how you can make money on outfitting. And yeah, if I've forgotten anything or haven't explained anything well, just let me know, and I'll be answering the comments. Thank you.